Soo-hyun slammed his hand on the steering wheel and laughed so hard tears ran down his face. In the backseat, Mia and Yuna were arguing again, not the ugly kind of arguing, the kind that made everyone around them smile. Mia was waving a paper bag of street food in Yuna's face, and Yuna was pushing it away, insisting she didn't want any, even though everyone knew she did. "You said you weren't hungry," Mia said, her Nigerian accent thick and warm. "I'm not hungry for that," Yuna shot back in Korean accented English, crossing her arms like a stubborn child. "Then what are you hungry for?" "Something that doesn't smell like pepper soup at 8 in the morning." Soo-hyun wiped his eyes. 42 years old, silver just beginning to touch the edges of his hair, and this chaotic, beautiful, loud morning was his life. He wouldn't trade it for anything. He had met Yuna first, back when they were both 26. She was quiet and graceful, a ceramics artist who kept her feelings locked behind a soft smile. He had fallen slowly for her, the way you fall asleep, gradually, and then all at once. They married when they were 29. Mia came into their lives through Yuna. They had been best friends since university, two girls from completely different worlds who had somehow found each other in a crowded lecture hall in Seoul and never let go. Mia was bold where Yuna was quiet. She laughed first and asked questions later. She filled every room she entered with warmth that felt like standing in sunlight. Over the years, something shifted. Soo-hyun didn't plan it. Mia didn't plan it. Even Yuna, who noticed everything, hadn't seen it coming. But feelings don't wait for permission. They just arrive. The three of them had a long, honest, painful, and ultimately peaceful conversation one rainy evening in their apartment. There were tears. There were long silences. There were words said that couldn't be unsaid. But when the rain stopped, they had made a decision together. Not one that the world would easily understand, but one that the three of them understood completely. They built a life. A real one. If you are new here, welcome to this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now because we tell stories here that will stay with you long after the video ends. And drop a comment telling us where in the world you are watching from. We love seeing your locations. Now let's get back to the story. Their home was a large, warm apartment in Seoul. 3 people, 1 kitchen, 1 dining table, and a rule that Soo-hyun had set from the very beginning: no one goes to bed angry. Not at each other. Not at him. Not at themselves. He kept that rule religiously. If Yuna was quiet at dinner, he noticed. He would sit beside her after Mia had gone to wash up, and he would just be there. He wouldn't force her to talk. He would just exist beside her until she was ready. That was how Yuna needed to be loved, and he had learned it well. If Mia was too loud, which was often, he didn't shush her. He laughed with her, matched her energy, danced badly in the kitchen while she cooked jollof rice that made the whole floor smell incredible. That was how Mia needed to be loved, and he had learned that too. He bought them things separately and together. Not expensive things, not always. Sometimes it was Yuna's favorite green tea from the small shop 3 streets away. Sometimes it was the specific coconut oil Mia used on her hair, the one with the yellow label that was hard to find in Seoul. Small things. Intentional things. Things that said, "I see you. I remember you. You matter to me." The years passed the way good years do, quickly, and full of color. Mia got pregnant first, in the 3rd year of their arrangement. The news came on a Tuesday morning, and she ran into the living room still in her pajamas, holding the test in one hand and covering her mouth with the other. Yuna screamed. Soo-hyun knocked over his coffee. They all ended up on the floor together, laughing and crying at the same time. The baby was a boy. They named him Tae, a name that sat comfortably between their worlds. Tae grew up with his mother's laugh and his father's calm eyes, and from the very first day, Yuna loved him like he had come from her own body. 2 years later, Mia was pregnant again. A girl this time. They named her Ada for short, and she came into the world screaming, which Mia said meant she was already just like her. The apartment got louder. The kitchen got messy. The love got bigger. But something else was also growing, quietly, in a place no one could see. Yuna had not gotten pregnant. No one said it out loud in the beginning. It was there, though. In the way Yuna's eyes lingered a second too long when she held Ada. In the way she sometimes stood at the bathroom door in the mornings, very still, before coming out with a smile that was real but also wasn't complete. In the way she laughed a little too quickly sometimes, as if she was trying to outrun a thought. Soo-hyun noticed. He always noticed with Yuna. He would reach for her hand under the dinner table when no one was looking, and she would squeeze it back, and neither of them would say a word, because some feelings are too big for words and too private for a crowded room. Mia noticed too. One evening, after the children were asleep and Soo-hyun had gone to take a shower, Mia sat beside Yuna on the balcony. The city hummed below them. The sky was the color of dark honey. "Talk to me," Mia said simply. Yuna didn't pretend not to know what she meant. That was the thing about a friendship that had lasted 15 years, there was nowhere to hide. "I don't want to say it," Yuna whispered. "You don't have to say all of it. Just say one part." Yuna was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "When Ada calls me Mama Yuna, I feel so happy. And then I feel so sad. Both at the same time. Is that terrible?" "No," Mia said. "That's human. I watch you with them and I think, what is wrong with me? Why can't my body do the thing it is supposed to do?" Mia reached over and took Yuna's hand. "Nothing is wrong with you. We just haven't found the answer yet. But we will. I promise you, we will." Yuna turned to look at her. "How can you be so sure?" "Because I am your best friend and I refuse to let you give up. If you have been watching for a while, this is a good time to like this video. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need these kinds of stories. Keep watching because the best part is still coming." The next morning, Mia woke up with a plan. She didn't tell Soo-hyun yet. She went straight to Yuna's room, knocked once, and walked in with 2 cups of tea. "Get dressed," she said. "We are going out." Yuna sat up slowly. "Where?" "There is a pharmacist I heard about. A woman. People say she is very good, very honest. She doesn't just sell medicine, she listens. She explains. I want you to talk to her." Yuna hesitated. "Mia. Don't argue with me. Drink your tea and get dressed." Yuna almost smiled. "You are so bossy." "I know. It's one of my best qualities. Now move." They took a taxi across the city, just the two of them, no children, no Soo-hyun. The pharmacist's shop was small and clean, tucked between a bakery and a flower stall on a quiet street. The woman behind the counter was in her 50s, with reading glasses on a chain around her neck and a calm face that made you feel like you could tell her anything. Her name was Dr. Shin. Mia did most of the talking at first, explaining the situation carefully and honestly. Dr. Shin listened without interrupting, without flinching, without judging. When Mia finished, the doctor turned to Yuna. "How long have you been trying?" she asked gently. "For years," Yuna said quietly. "Have you had any pain? Irregular cycles? Any cramping that felt unusual?" Yuna thought about it. "Sometimes. I always thought it was normal." Dr. Shin looked at her honestly. "I cannot promise definitely. But I can promise it is worth trying." Mia grabbed Yuna's hand under the counter. Yuna didn't pull away. They left the shop with the medication, 2 warm paper bags from the bakery next door, and something neither of them had expected to find that morning, hope. We are now at the halfway point of this story, and if you are still here, you are exactly the kind of viewer this channel was made for. Drop a comment right now and tell us where you are watching from. It means everything to us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. Okay, back to Yuna and Mia. That night, Mia told Soo-hyun everything. He sat at the kitchen table and listened without speaking. When she finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he got up, walked to Yuna's room, and knocked softly. "Come in," she said. He opened the door. She was sitting on her bed, the small bag of medication on the nightstand beside her. She looked up at him with eyes that were trying very hard to be brave. He sat on the edge of the bed. "Why didn't you tell me how bad it was getting? I didn't want you to feel sorry for me." "Yuna." His voice was low and careful. "I don't feel sorry for you. I feel everything with you. There's a difference." She looked down at her hands. "I kept thinking maybe next month. Maybe next month. And then the months kept passing and I didn't know how to say that the hope was getting smaller." "Then let us carry it for you," he said. "Me and Mia. Until your own hope gets big again. That's what we are here for." She leaned her head on his shoulder and said nothing. He stayed there until she fell asleep. The months that followed were not dramatic. They were quiet and steady and full of small rituals. Every morning, Yuna took her medication with warm water and honey because Mia had read somewhere that honey was good for the body and had decided that was now the rule. Every evening, the three of them ate dinner together. The children loud and messy and full of life. And every night, Hope sat at the table with them like a quiet fourth guest. 4 months in, Yuna started to feel different. She couldn't explain it. Just different. Softer somewhere inside. Warmer. She didn't say anything to anyone. Then one morning, 5 months after that first visit to Dr. Shin, Yuna stood in the bathroom with a test in her hand. She stared at it. She read it again. She sat down on the cold tile floor because her legs stopped working properly. 2 lines. She whispered something in Korean that had no direct translation but meant something close to finally. 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 She walked out of the bathroom. Mia was in the kitchen making breakfast, Ada on her hip, Tae pulling at her apron. Soo-hyun was pouring juice. Everything was normal and loud and ordinary. Yuna held up the test. The kitchen went completely silent. Mia saw it first. Her hand flew to her mouth. Ada looked up at her mother, confused by the sudden quiet. Soo-hyun turned around. He looked at the test. He looked at Yuna. He set the juice down very slowly, like a man who was afraid that if he moved too fast, this moment would disappear. "Yuna," he said. His voice broke on her name. And then the kitchen was not quiet anymore. Mia was crying and laughing at the same time, Ada bouncing on her hip wondering what was happening. Tae decided everyone was happy so he started cheering too, even though he had no idea why. Soo-hyun crossed the kitchen in 3 steps and held Yuna like she was something rare and irreplaceable, which she was. "I told you," Mia sobbed into Yuna's hair from behind. "I told you we would find the answer. Didn't I tell you?" "You told me," Yuna laughed through her tears. "You were right. You were completely right. I am always right. You should know this by now." They stood there in the kitchen, all 3 of them tangled together, children confused but happy, breakfast burning slightly on the stove. The morning sun coming through the window and landing on all of them like it had been waiting for exactly this moment. Soo-hyun called a celebration for the following weekend. Not a party with strangers, just them, just their family, just the people who had built this life together brick by brick. He cooked himself, which was always a risk, but this time he managed not to burn anything. Mia made jollof rice and fried plantain. Yuna made her mother's traditional Korean soup, the one she only made for special occasions. After dinner, when the children were playing on the living room floor and the 3 adults sat around the table with warm drinks in their hands, Soo-hyun put his cup down and looked at them both. "I want to say something," he said. Mia raised an eyebrow. "Are you about to get emotional?" "Because I already cried twice today and I am running out of tears." "Just listen." She closed her mouth. Yuna looked at him quietly. "I want to thank you both," he said. "Not just for today. For all of it. For choosing this life even when it was hard. For being patient with each other. For being patient with me." He paused. "Most people said this wouldn't work. They said someone would always get hurt. They said it was impossible to love two people and have it be fair. His voice was steady but his eyes were full. You proved all of them wrong. Not because it was easy, because it wasn't. But because you both chose peace over pride, every single time. Because when one of us was hurting, the others showed up. That's not luck. That's character. Mia was quiet. That alone said everything. Yuna reached across the table and covered his hand with hers. Mia reached across and covered both of theirs. Outside, the city moved and breathed and carried on. Inside that apartment, 3 people sat in the glow of something that the world rarely gets to see, a love that had been tested and stretched and doubted, and had held anyway. A love that had not just survived. It had grown. And somewhere in it, new life was already beginning. If this story moved you even a little, please like this video right now. It costs nothing and it means everything to this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below telling us where you are watching from and what part of this story hit you the hardest. We read every single comment. Thank you for watching, thank you for staying until the end, and we will see you in the next story.